Ooh, hey guys. Um, this one's gonna be a tiny bit different. Because I know personally, I'll be honest, I didn't plan to make a video similar to this because I know um Dado even made one like in the recent weeks, and I man, he has his own opinions in playing Destiny and everything right now. But man, let me tell you, I was not planning on doing this. I was planning on maybe making some content about, anything else I could try and find, going about and doing stuff in the reclaim activity, or trying to look around for maybe some, interesting data pads and stuff like that. There's really only been one, and it's not really enough to make a whole video on unless I really try and like milk analytics or something like that. And even the last video did pretty all right, getting a bunch of good conversations and good feedback around how he's feeling with the whole Red War thing. But this one's going to be more of just kind of talking out there, talking to you guys. It is really, really hard to enjoy the game right now. And there's a couple of reasons I have as to why, and especially they got kind of amplified from the stream last night. Number one, it's kind of a tough video to have my first new like branding out there, and yeah, last night's stream was kind of celebrating. Hey, our rebrand and everything has been done. We've got new logos, new colors, new stuff like that coming up, and it's all applied to the channel now. You'll be seeing it with this video, but I was going through and pretty much getting on Destiny now is just going, okay, we'll get on and grind. There are so many things that were so frustrating last night that I really just stopped enjoying the game last night. It was so difficult to sit there and continue to push myself, because then after every activity, I'm like asking myself, do I really want to do that again? Like, do I really want to go in and do all of that again? Or, if yeah, and with being at the power level I'm at, sometimes it's, do I wanna go in and make it even more difficult or even more annoying than it already was? And one of the main problems I had last night, and you'll see it in, you've probably already seen it, or it's coming up here on the video itself, depending on how this gets cut down, because whenever I yap a lot, I have to cut out a lot. But the loot drops are just so limp with the portal and what's going on, and especially at the level we're at, I just don't have I just don't get the serotonin boost, I guess, from completing an activity at 400 light and above, grandmaster difficulty. Whenever we used to do GMs back in the day, whenever they were still strikes, it's I mean, it was you got enough loot that the side of your screen, you couldn't see everything. It was just, it rolled down the side of the screen with the materials, the ascendant shards, the adept weapons, whatever. Now, as someone who's at 400 something light and have to set every difficulty I do to GM in order to make sure that I'm progressing in the game or that I'm actually getting good rewards from the game, I'm getting 1, 2 drops. Or the worst part of this, the worst part of the whole thing, the actual, like, creme de la creme of shit for this whole thing was in this video. You'll see it, and it'll be towards the end, and you can jump there if you want, because I'm sure you guys have the same complaints. But we did the Fallen Saber strike last night, and it's gonna be the strike that's used as the B-roll for me kind of talking at you guys. And if I end up not yapping as long as I need to for it to reach that video, I'll just leave the rest of the B-roll in with its audio and everything. We were doing the Falling Saber strike, and we got to the end. We beat the timer, only for the chest to seemingly drop. Nothing. The chest opens, see the animation, and nothing. Not a single thing dropping. And I hate to be that guy to kind of compare things, but it really shows, and it's really painful when a game like Borderlands comes out, and Borderlands has always, 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 always done the loot pool drop thing well. Like, no matter what, I know some of us may have, some of you may have not. If you guys have ever looked up, like, people grinding for a very specific role on a very specific, like, rarity weapon, every time they do the boss that they need to do that spits out the chance of that weapon, if you guys have seen it, I mean, it spits out hundreds of weapons. There's a literal rain shower of weapons and loot and materials and everything. I don't understand why we don't have that in Destiny. We kind of used to, but it feels like they took that all away in the Portal, and especially for us who go and do grind to 400, 500 power. Like, if we're being forced to have to play on things like Grandmaster or Ultimate Difficulty, why are we being, like, clubbed in the knee whenever it comes to loot drops? Give me tons of it. Give me 20 drops. And I asked this for a couple of reasons, because it also segues into another frustration that I'm really, really having with Destiny. Destiny has been about build crafting and putting things together and trying new things and trying interesting combinations. I can't do that right now. I can't. And there's several reasons as to why. Number one, I found out the hard way with how the portal and how the reclaim activity is working. If you have one gun that's like at 200 light because you pulled it from collections, like for exotics as an example. Say you pulled an exotic from collections because you want to add it to a build and want to see how it works. That gun's gonna feel like shit because you're going into a Grandmaster strike, because that's the only way you're gonna get rewards and be able to get a B plus score and continue your power grind while still trying out new things. But that gun at 200 light is not being brought up or compensated in any way. And I found this out the hard way with things like Revision Zero and Quicksilver Storm. Those guns felt awful even at -20 Delta. I felt like I couldn't kill anything, and I was having to dump mag after mag after mag after mag into these enemies. As soon as I swapped to a gun that was at light, it was a cakewalk. It was dealing fine damage, things were falling over, and I could continue. And so I realized, oh, I can't even use lower light level weapons because it'll feel like shit. So now I don't have incentive to try new builds, but the other part that prevents me from trying new builds is the fact that they don't give us enough unstable cores for anything. Like, I'm dismantling tier 4, tier 5 armors at times, and most of the time it's tier 4 because I'm at 420 something light. Getting 600 unstable cores when to take something from, you know, hell, take something from like 382 light to 420 will cost me 2,000. Like, and then the battle pass, don't get me started on the season pass. I'm sorry, but giving me 50, 60, 200 unstable cores in the season pass, y'all need to start adding some fucking zeros. Because I, at this point I have to use one build. Because that's the only build that's going to be at light consistently all the way up until I get to 500 or 550, and I just won't get enough unstable cores from the amount of drops. So it's not only the loot is limp as fuck for someone like me at 420 light who needs unstable cores. I can't get unstable cores unless I get more loot that drops with a seasonal power bonus to then dismantle it for seasonal power unstable cores. So no, that the loot is spawning these issues where it's just hitting replay on everything, even with the same build. just the replay button over and over and over and over
Excuse you,
again,
you're
and I
healing while you're
can't
being shot with a fucking
stand it.
overload.
Not to mention that when we're having to make certain things
That's
as
called
difficult as they are,
literal cheating.
you guys saw how irritated I was with the Techno Rat encounter. I know it's like Technocrat, but I always just say Techno Rat, where they put almost 20 something overload champions throughout that encounter. Fallen Saber is almost as bad. It's not like as annoying because the corridors are really tight, so there's not a lot of places for the captains to teleport to, and as long as you and your friends bring in, overload weapons, all of you, and it's not that bad because there's maybe 5 anti-barrier champs. But the sheer amount of overloads is just ridiculous. It's just crazy. But that's just for me to say that, like, I had a really rough time trying to enjoy the game. I did try to make light of the situation. I did try and have some funny moments, but it's really hard when all this work I'm putting in is getting just limp dicked from the moment that I go in to the moment the strike is done. I'm not being rewarded for being at 420 light. Some of you may be like, oh, yes, you are because you're getting, tier 4s and tier 5s. Sure. But how fun could the game feel if whenever I completed a Grandmaster Reclaim, a Grandmaster Onslaught, that I'm getting 6, 7, 8, 10 drops, that yes, I will dismantle most of them. I think this is the other thing that I fear Bungie is so afraid of. Just slap me in the face with a bag of loot. Yes, I'm going to dismantle most of it, but that's a benefit to me. It's a benefit for unstable cores, so I can try other builds and not constantly have to be so scared of, oh my god, I only have 20,000 cores, and if I want to bring something from 300 light to 414 light, it's going to cost 8,000 unstable cores. That's nearly half of my stash already, just to go from 300 to 412 or 424 or whatever. Why do I feel punished for trying to play more builds? And it's not like I don't play the game enough. We obviously can tell from the amount of videos I make and the amount of times my stream is Destiny 2. I put the work in. I get the grind in. Even today, after I record this, unfortunately, I'm going to put myself into trials, try and get the new auto rifle because it gets some pretty good perks. Will I get the perks I want? Probably fucking not. But that's the whole point. I think we need to stop doing this. Oh, each activity will have this number of engrams drop. No. Base it on the difficulty, man. Just dial it the fuck up. Because number one, it's another way to reward a player, man. Where we're feeling like, hey, I'm having to do harder stuff. Just dial it up. Because then I'll have more fun the more I play. If I get lower drops whenever I'm at, 200 to, 100, 200 light, sure. As soon as I start hitting 250 to 300 and you suddenly double the drops on me, oh, dude, yeah, doing it at a higher difficulty as I'm getting higher light, fuck yeah, let's keep playing, let's keep going, because I'm getting just dump trucked with loot. And then it gets better and better as you get to 400, 450, 500, 550, where you literally have to spend a good chunk of time going through all of the shit that you got. Did you get good rolls that you wanted? Cool, you get to keep those. Did you get, even if it's the same weapon, right? If I got the roll I wanted on the scout rifle, and then I'm doing the activity again, I could get that same roll again, but guess what? That's more unstable cores. Cool, I can go try out other builds. Or I can bring something else up to light, see how it does in this content. It opens up more avenues to play rather than I'm at 420 something light and I'm getting 1 to 2 drops. I don't even want to play. It doesn't even feel like rewarding enough. But that's kind of where I was at. I had a really rough time last night, and I was like, you know what? I know what my video, I'm gonna be about. I'm just gonna get this out there. I'm gonna spew whatever it is, get my feelings out. Hopefully, people may agree and people have the same issues, and we'll just kind of talk about it in the comments. If there's something else that's really turning you off of the game or really, really making it frustrating, put it down there in the comments. Any amount of feedback is, great. I enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the new branding. I'm gonna get some new merch and some other stuff set up later on this weekend and kind of put everything together where I can. So, uh, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here and more. And after I get this uploaded, I'm gonna go suffer through trials. So hopefully, I'll have a more interesting video next time for you guys. But outside of that, try and enjoy the game. Such a hard task to ask, and I'll see you guys in the next video.